Hi everyone, this is Bobby from bn-games.com with a video review for the Nintendo DSi XL. This is my second DSi. I have owned a Lite previously, but I didn't have it for long for various reasons. I just picked this up a couple days ago, and after, according to certain games, I've put in at least 40 hours worth of time into it, so I have a pretty good idea how this thing works, and I have a couple of games that really show off the power of this tiny system, or should I say huge, actually. The DSi was a iteration which added two cameras, one here, and I'll open this up right here, one there, as well as a microphone. It added some other functionality, a web browser. I'm going to just turn on the unit right now, and just like one. You have also the DSi shop and a couple other things. You can download, play. I know the other ones had some similar functionality, but you can really tell because this is the biggest model they make. The DSi XL was, well, according to Nintendo, has a screen that's 90% bigger than the previous DSi. And the DSi, if you've ever seen a DSi versus a DS Lite, you'll know that the screens are absolutely huge in comparison. It's almost as big as my HTC Evo. Well, you're getting pretty close there. Anyway, it's an excellent system. Nintendo really outdid themselves with this thing. For those of you who don't know, DS or DSi or DS Lite, whatever you want to call it at this point, is technically a portable Nintendo 64. The hardware is very similar. And they play with these little tiny cartridges. These little things. Right here we have Pokemon Heartgold. If you own a DS and do not own Pokemon, my question is, why do you have a DS? So I'm going to show you a little demo, and I know this is being captured, but you should be able to see what this looks like. And the slot's right there. You have your power socket, which it comes with power cord. SD slot, which you can put MP3s and use this as a music player, but it really only supports AAC, which is a proprietary format. So if you have MP3s or FLAC, like I do, you're out of luck. You also come with a standard stylus, just like any DS model. Although this one, being big, comes with this monster. And I actually really like this thing. It's a size of a normal pen. Most people don't like this. It's not as portable because you can't put it in the system, but it definitely is a nice addition. You have your headphone jack there at the bottom. It's a mat on the back, so this is not going to be fingerprints, but this right here is a fingerprint magnet, and I bet you can see that, and oh god, that pisses me off. Anyway, volume toggle here, like a cell phone. Anyway, it recognizes I have Pokemon Heartgold, and I'll just do the little intro movie right there. That is me using the central camera. When you do initial setup, it wants you to take a picture, and I'll just, you can either, you're technically supposed to use the stylus. Pokemon Gold is a good time sink. Pokemon first came out in 1995. I was about 11 or 12, I believe, and I've been playing the crap out of it. And to be honest with you, I've been playing the crap out of this one. And this thing can get pretty loud. It's about max right there. Very bright screens, very rich detail. Lower this a little bit, and you can see some of the towns that you visit in this game, which I will be reviewing soon, well before Black and White comes out. But as you can see, it's very nice system. I do own a PSP, and it's really hard to compare the two because the PSP has a much different focus when it comes to its sort of game library. The DS is a lot of platformers, a lot of puzzles. In fact, when you buy a DSi XL, it comes with Brain Age Express Math and Brain Age Express Art and Letters. And Brain Age was a really big selling point with the first DSs. And they come pre-installed on this version. They're really just tiny versions of the full game, which you can purchase. This also has a voice recorder that you can modify the sound, and well, a lot of other things. Now, the system does cost a significant amount more than the DSi or DS Lite. In fact, this model will go for about $180 now, which is actually lower. Nintendo lowered the price. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you're in the know, I know that Nintendo 3DS is coming out soon. Should I buy one? Well, that's a yes/no question. The 3DS hasn't proven itself yet. It hasn't been out in the market, so we don't know if it's going to be any good or not. Knowing Nintendo, it's usually a quality product. But, you know, for sake of argument, you never know. If you do not plan on trying to play 3D games, then yes, I would say so. And then the 3DS is going to be smaller than these screens, so if you are someone who needs a large screen to see things because either you're blind or you're just used to large screen objects like Android phones or even your iPhones and iPod Touches and that sort of thing, it's going to be a must. Although this will not play 3DS games, unfortunately. I probably will get a 3DS eventually in the later generations. There's no Nintendo, just like Apple. There'll be another iteration of it which will be slimmer and you know, have more functionality, better battery. Although this battery on this thing is comparable to the PSP. You get 3 to 4 hours full play with it, approximately, maybe 5, depending on what game. Actually, depends on how much power is being used. On top of that, it's just a great value. The games on the DS, new ones, usually don't go any past 40. Used games, as far as Nintendo first party, do not lose their appreciation very well. So, say you want to buy Super Mario, New Super Mario, which was one of the most popular games, or is the most popular game on the system. It is still about $30 used, and about $50 new. It's first party Nintendo always is more expensive, but if you like your Brain Ages and other games that have been released 2 years ago, which are still quality titles, your Phoenix Wright being another really quality title for this system, those things can go for $10 to $15, which for a handheld is comparable to what you pay for applications on Android or iOS for your Apple products. Now, this does have an app store, like I mentioned, the DSiWare, but to be really honest with you, it's mostly crap. There's really no nice way to say it. You can't go in there, or shouldn't be going in there, expecting to be able to download Super Mario 1, 2, 3 World or anything like that. They are not on the marketplace, and doesn't look like they will ever be. A lot of what you get on there are clocks and well, a lot of really bad stuff. There is a variety of apps that may have come from other platforms such as Android or iOS, but they're few and far between, and they usually cost too much money. This thing does have Wi-Fi connectivity. It does also support some of the more modern formats for security, but it is a pain to set up. It's not intuitive, and some of the design choices for the operating system that runs this are a little questionable. I mean, I know it's to be simple, but a little auto-sensing would have been nice. Also, the wireless antenna on this product I found is fairly weak and doesn't do well at distance. It will disconnect very easily, even if you're right next to your wireless access point. And I am in the business of knowing how to run these things besides this website, and I can tell you there's a lot of weakness in some of the hardware when it comes to wireless communication. However, it does work. Pokemon Heartgold, for example, trading and connecting and battling is actually fairly fast. But it's been doing quite a bit of that, except for when it's on the wireless access point. Then that's where it gets a little hairy sometimes, depending on what your bandwidth is. It's not really a model, but anyway, I mean that's for someone who has wants that kind of connectivity. Usually, the Nintendo DSi is for people who are of younger audience and really don't need that kind of functionality. It was really not intended to be an online powerhouse. It can run the Opera browser, which is not optimal and does not have Flash support, but then again, most phones don't. So that's not really at fault of Nintendo. It's really for playing the game. It's really for playing Pokemon, for playing Mario. And it does that well. And other than this being the premium system, at the price, you can get yourself a DSi or even a DS Lite for the price of a new PSP. Something like that. Even lower if you're looking for it. And like I said, the games are so cheap, the older ones, especially in the used market, that it really becomes a value. I mean, you could really build a collection fairly easily and cheaply versus your next-gen consoles, and even the PSP, because PSP has nearly full retail price on some of their first-party and third-party titles. There's not a lot of support for third-party. Most of the games that you will care about will be first-party. So that would be the Marios and Pokemon being the most prevalent, obviously, for this system. Always has been since the Game Boy. This particular model is Midnight Blue, and there's the colors that Nintendo originally chose were, well, some people have complaints. There's Burgundy, which is a really, really close to black, and then there's a red one, a darkish red, and then there's this color, and there'll be other colors in the future. I picked this one up, being that this is the least seen, least purchased, because this one's the newest. So it really comes down to the question, do you want to buy one of these before 3DS comes out? It really depends on how much you care about Nintendo. And when you come to think about it, there will be a lot of DS games. In fact, the new Pokemon will still be technically a DS game, not a 3DS game. So there'll still be a lot of support for the system. And the games are just going to get cheaper this year, especially with 3DS being released in March. So if you're looking for a handheld that it's going to be a lot of fun, and you can actually find the games for reasonable price, you really can't go wrong. If you want to spend a little less, then I would recommend going with the DSi. I would not go all the way down to the DS Lite, because screen-wise it's just tiny, and especially when you're looking at this monster, it's a no-brainer. Anyway, this is the video review for the Nintendo DSi XL. This is actually my first video hardware review for the website. Just please leave comments in the comments below and visit the site, and I'm really looking for any commentary and suggestions and critiques, positive critiques preferably. I know I'm getting used to talking on the camera and explaining these things, but I think it's valuable. I mean, I've looked on YouTube myself, and I haven't really found anything on here that's really gone into this much detail, and nothing that really gets down to what people want to know about the system, what I wanted to know before I made the purchasing decision. But I would say yes, it's definitely worth your money, and you'll definitely get the time out of it. If you're a little skeptical about portable gaming, or you don't see yourself traveling a lot, it may not be the best decision for you. But if you travel on any level, especially if you're a business person, you fly a lot, or if you have children, especially children, preferably maybe 8 years old and older, definitely would recommend it. And with the upgrade, just prices are going to get lower, so that's definitely a pro. Now, the only cons really come down to the wireless being kind of weak in the system, and some of the OS decisions, how they place options are a little questionable. And it doesn't have flash, but like I said, I can't really fault that. Most phones don't have that. Even tablets don't have that yet. iPhone doesn't have that yet. So, anyway, I digress. So, like I said, just leave comments, and please subscribe. I appreciate everyone watching, and appreciate all the positive comments that hopefully you will post under this. If you have any requests on hardware that I may have or you would like to see, just leave them in below. And you can email me at bobby@basicallynothing.com. Thank you very much.